and welcome to another exciting edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Audrey Williams. It's Friday, and we're thrilled to be in the second week of the new academic year, the second week of the month, and the second week of a fresh season. As we embrace these changes, it's essential to foster a positive mindset, one grounded in resilience and gratitude. Here's a simple step to kickstart your journey towards a positive outlook. Challenge negative thoughts. When you catch yourself dwelling on negativity, question the validity of those thoughts and replace them with more balanced or positive alternatives. If you need a boost, remember this: you are special, and the world wouldn't be the same without you. As you reflect on that uplifting thought, we have a lot of exciting content lined up for you today. Stay with us. We'll be right back after the news.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Friday, September 13, 2024. Jamaica is working to strengthen air travel out of the Latin American region to tap into an economic area where there is a growing middle class with the ability to travel and consume tourism experiences. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett points out that South America's largest airline, LATAM, will begin flying out of Lima, Peru, to Montego Bay starting December 1. In addition, the tourism team is in consultation with Azul Airlines in Brazil and Avianca in Colombia.
We can see South America becoming, a strong player in line with Canada and the UK as drivers of large numbers into Jamaica.
What we are focused on or aiming for is by the end of 2025 to have a full slate of airlift connectivity between Latin America and Jamaica for both Montego Bay and Kingston, feeding both the leisure as well as the business opportunity that exists between the two regions.
The Minister and Director of Tourism were speaking at a recent JIS think tank. In the meantime, this year's observance of Tourism Awareness Week will focus on how the sector thrives on and can help support peace in the society. The week will be observed from September 22 to 28 under the theme Tourism and Peace, out of many, one love.
A stable and peaceful environment is an indispensable prerequisite for tourism's success. However, the relationship is reciprocal. Tourism itself can serve as a catalyst for peace by fostering the free flow of people, ideas, and resources across borders. It can nurture a global community built on mutual respect and understanding.
Tourism Awareness Week activities begin on September 22 with a church service at the Family Church on the Rock in Montego Bay. On Monday, September 23, there will be an unveiling of a mural at Peters Lane in downtown Kingston. A speaking series and storytelling competitions are planned for the Tourism Action Club in schools across the island. This will run from September 23 to 26. On the 25th, a youth forum is planned for the Montego Bay Convention Center, and on the 26th, the Falmouth Artisan Village will house an event dubbed Savor Jamaica, featuring a display of Jamaica's rich culinary heritage. And on Friday, September 27, World Tourism Day, a free One Love concert will be held at Devon House. Work on the construction of an infant nursery for incarcerated expectant mothers who give birth while in custody is nearing completion. Construction is approximately 98% complete, and the nursery is projected to be opened in mid-September. The facility is being developed at the South Camp Adult Correctional Center in Kingston at a cost of $13 million. National Security State Minister Juliet Cuthbert-Flynn tells JIS News that the need for a nursery was identified during a visit to the facility.
I decided that we should have a nursery for these mothers, and when I investigated, we recognized that there were at least 2 mothers a year who would enter the facilities pregnant and give birth while they're incarcerated, whether they're waiting to be charged or not. But they end up being in state care and end up giving birth.
Mrs. Cuthbert Flynn says the nursery, which will accommodate up to 3 mothers at a time, will be outfitted with amenities such as cribs, changing tables, diaper pails, beds for the mothers, and rocking chairs to encourage breastfeeding. She expresses optimism that the nursery will be a game changer by keeping mother and child in a safe space, and that it will help to reduce the 40% recidivism rate.
The policy for the government is for the mother to keep a child while incarcerated for at least 6 months, and so why not have a nursery to make sure that if we're going to keep the baby for 6 months, that they are properly cared for and that the mother can have the best mental health care and for that infant in a safer space.
General Manager of the Heart NSTA Trust, Dr. Tanisha Ingleton, says assessments and lessons learned from the World Skills Competition in Lyon, France, will be used to enhance its TVET programs. Dr. Ingleton was speaking on Wednesday during a panel discussion.
We upgrade our curriculum, we integrate the standards into the learning. We have individuals here who are experts. We place those experts into the teaching system. We have individuals here who are marking. We meet with them, assess what is it that you're seeing, what is it that you're observing, what do we need to tweak, how do we need to make changes and reimagine so that we can become better at what we do.
Dr. Ingleton says the Jamaican team at the event is serious about reaping the gains from the international competition to advance the country's skills agenda. The goal, she says, is to advance competencies in particular skilled areas and educate the country and region about how it is that we can future-proof the economy with skills.
So when we go back, we write the learnings from this competition into our planning framework. Exactly how it is that we're going to be managing and operating our TVET institutions right across the year with the learnings coming from here.
The Jamaican team is among 1,400 young people competing in 59 skill areas, showcasing their talent and fostering international collaboration. The Manchester Health Department is reporting that the Prattville Health Centre has been closed for repairs. Repairs are scheduled to be completed for full restoration of services in October. In the meantime, residents of Prattville, Asia, and surrounding communities in South Manchester are encouraged to use the Newport and Cross Key Health Centres or other nearby facilities. Persons can contact the Manchester Health Department at 876-613-1543 or 876-613-5895 for further information. And finally, multi-Olympic champion Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is to be presented with the keys to the City of Kingston. This presentation is the highest honor that can be bestowed by the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation and is being conferred on Mrs. Fraser-Pryce in recognition of her sterling and iconic career in athletics over the years. The decision was announced at the KSAMC's council meeting on Tuesday.
She is proud and strong Jamaican woman who has made our country's name shine on the global stage. And I just want to indicate also that at the next council meeting, we will be moving also a resolution for a road in her community to be renamed after Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce.
Councillor for the Hagley Park Division, Waynette Strahan, who moved the resolution, says Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce has exceeded the boundaries of sport to become one of Jamaica's cultural ambassadors. And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Friend, it's the best decision we've ever made to further our education. We finally have our dream jobs that will allow us to enjoy other things in life. The Student Loan Bureau did this for us, you know.
Yes, girl, it was a lot of work, but we made it.
All I have to start thinking about right now is to repay my student loan, and with SLB's low interest rate, I won't feel burdened at all.
Well, I have other things to focus on right now. Loan repayment can stay for later.
Really? Don't you know that when we repay our student loan, others benefit from the fund? Think about your little brother. Don't you want him to benefit too?
Oh, of course.
By paying it forward, we're making sure the next generation has the same opportunities we did.
Well, I guess I never thought about it that way.
I'm happy we had this conversation.
Oh, absolutely. Let me get on it right now.
Yeah, man. Let's make sure others can achieve their dreams too.
Visit our website at slbja.com for more details and follow all our social media platforms to be in the loop.
Thank you for staying with us. As the hurricane season continues, don't forget to ensure your homes are secured. But while you do that, if you're in the bee business, it's also crucial to think about safeguarding the homes of those smaller friends. Beekeepers face unique challenges in protecting their hives during storms, and our next feature will offer practical tips for addressing them.
I love the pit, pit, patter of the raindrops. I love the buzz, buzz, buzzing of the bees. But the thing I love the best is to know that we are protecting these pollinating giants. The lines might not go exactly as I said them, but as we learn from nursery rhymes, bees have a buzz, and it's essential for providing us with food. In Jamaica, beekeeping has blossomed into a vital industry with over 4,000 Jamaicans now engaged in this sweet enterprise. Far beyond just a profession, it stands as a cornerstone of environmental stewardship and food security. Yet, this rewarding and sustainable practice faces significant risks, particularly in regions prone to natural disasters like hurricanes. As we know, hurricanes bring with them a host of destructive elements: high winds, heavy rainfall, flooding, power outages, and landslides, all of which can pose severe threats to bee colonies. Beekeepers are advised to use ratchet straps or heavy-duty hive straps to secure hives to their stands. These straps should be tight and cover all parts of the hive to ensure it remains intact during the storm's winds. To help farmers prepare for hurricanes, the apiculture unit under the Ministry of Agriculture would issue an alert 10 days in advance. This alert normally advises farmers to secure their bee colonies by strapping them down, clearing excess vegetation around trees, removing any extended limbs, and ensuring that their apiaries are not located in flood-prone areas. And if the hives are located in a flood-prone area, it is best to move it to a safer location. If relocation isn't possible, beekeepers should elevate the hive stands with bricks or cinder blocks to keep them above flood waters. Duct tape or another strong adhesive can be used to seal the seams between hive boxes, preventing water from entering. If possible, covering hives with a heavy-duty tarp provides additional protection, but care must be taken to ensure adequate ventilation. Another thing, minimizing the size of hive entrances helps prevent excessive wind from entering, which can stress the bees and disrupt their ability to maintain temperature control. Lastly, beekeepers are encouraged to have a plan for feeding their bees in the event of extended power outages. Ensure you have an adequate supply of sugar syrup or other supplementals for feeding. As the nursery rhyme reminds us, bees buzz for a reason. Their work is essential to our environment and food supply. By taking these precautions, beekeepers can help ensure that even in the face of a hurricane, Jamaica's beekeeping industry will continue to thrive.
Hi everyone, here are 5 benefits of being a beneficiary of the Students' Loan Bureau. 1. Benefit from our 99% approval rate. 2. Benefit from our low interest rate, so less burden when you need to repay. 3. Benefit from the fact that we require no collateral when applying. 4. We're giving you more time to focus on your studies while we focus on the financing. No need to worry about repaying while in school. Number 5, receive a 14 months grace period after your graduation date before you enter repayment. Don't forget to follow us on all SLB platforms for more SLB info.
Here's another tip for reinforcing a positive mindset. Regularly reflect on what you're grateful for. While you're doing that, our next feature will explore how to address and overcome the fears associated with adoption, which is essential for fostering a positive and supportive environment for both prospective parents and children.
Thank you for your interest in adoption in Jamaica. Please download the adoption guidelines below, which are intended to assist you with the completion of your application form. You are required to complete and enclose the following documents: application forms, child's medical forms, adult's medical forms, any other information relevant to your case, such as affidavits, birth certificates, death certificates, and court orders. That's the beginning of your adoption process. You are now on your way to becoming a child's legal guardian.
Adoption is a very special process. It's a very significant step that persons take in their lives, and it is very rewarding. And I would implore persons who are interested in adopting to go for it. And as I said before, go for it with an open mind. People misconceive adoption because the stigma that is attached to it, in that persons, I don't know, maybe it is a cultural thing, but persons don't willingly talk about adoption. It's mostly a secret, and you find that people go away with the wrong ideas, in that persons believe that maybe the process is too long, maybe they believe that we should not have such a rigorous process, but you have to understand it's a life commitment, and you want to ensure that a child being adopted is being placed in the best possible placement. Close adoptions are adoptions that are basically done in Jamaica now, in that no information is given to either the adopters about the biological parents, and the biological parents don't know about the adoptive parents. The process for adopting overseas is basically very similar to the process for Jamaica, whereby you are needed to fill out the form, get the necessary supporting documents, birth certs, marriage certs. However, overseas applicants need to ensure that they have home studies, because that is the way you're going to find out about the overseas person's background. So they would have to get the services of a home service provider, especially for those in the US, and that home service provider will give them a comprehensive information about their, including police checks and everything. So they need that. And then after that process, they will submit it to us, and it will go through the regular rigorous process of identifying the birth parents, doing the necessary interview, visiting the child, getting the child's opinion, and then all of that is summarized and placed in a report along with the case file to the adoption board for approval. Persons who are allowed to adopt children in Jamaica are single male, female, couples, persons over 25 years. If you are a relative, you have to be 18 years and over. The adoption board is a body established in the Act that has to give approval for all adoption applications before they can go to the court for finalization. The adoption board is the only agency that is authorized to approve adoption cases. So there's no other agency that has that authority.
Let adoption work for you. Visit the Child Protection and Family Services Agency website at childprotection.gov.jm or visit the agency at 48 Duke Street or any of the parish's offices island-wide to learn how you can start the process.
final tip for today: embrace challenges as opportunities for growth. Reflect on what you can learn from difficult situations and use those lessons to move forward. In our next feature, we'll provide guidelines on the importance of getting back on track, particularly regarding your birthright.
For children whose father's name is not on their birth certificate, what we find is that for legal purposes, persons want inheritance. Most times we need proof of paternity. And which other way would you show that John Brown is the father of this child if his name is not on the birth certificate? It makes it much more difficult when they are supposed to be probating the will.
So my name is not on my child's birth certificate. How could I add it?
Well, there are three means by which a father's name can be added to a child's birth record. One is that he signs at the time of the registration. So if the registration is done at the hospital today, he visits the hospital to sign within the window of the mother being there and signs. Now, if it's a case where the father is not available, or he's out of the island, or he's otherwise engaged, then the other means by which he can add his name is by what we call a Form E. Now, this document is signed by both parents in the presence of the Justice of the Peace, and they would have submitted their IDs along with the form once it is signed. This form, though, is valid for 42 days, and it's 42 days from the date of registration. After 42 days, the form is not valid.
But my child is already 1 year old. That time has well passed. What can I do?
The next means by which the name can be added is by what we call a status form. Now, this form is utilized once the child is over 6 weeks old. Once the child is over this time frame, what it means is that you'd have to complete the status form, have it signed in the presence of the Justice of the Peace, both parents would submit their IDs, and the father would have submitted his birth certificate. There's a cost attached to this service once a child is over 6 weeks.
I'm a full-blown adult. My father is 1 foot in the grave. Can I still add him to my birth certificate?
There are no restrictions to what time frame you can add your name. If the child is 100 and the father is still alive, then of course he can send the status form in order to add his name to the child's birth record. If the father is deceased, then it makes it a little bit more complicated because he's not here to sign. He's not here to vouch to say that he's actually the father of this child. So with that, you'd have to go through the court, do the necessary documentations in terms of affidavit and all that in order to add the father's name to the child's birth record.
My situation is a bit different. My daughter now lives overseas, but it is something that I've always wanted to do. Is it still possible?
If the child is overseas, then it would not affect the processing of that application because the requisite documents really involves the parents. So once the mother is here in the island, she can sign, and if she's not in the island, then the form is on our website. It can be pulled down, printed, completed in the presence of a notary public, and then the original is sent to us or to the applicant who will be applying for the birth certificate. Now bear in mind that when you're adding the father's name to the child's birth record is what we call a record updating activity. So if it's not the child or the mother who's coming to do this application, the application should accompany a permission letter.
RGD register my son wrong and give him another man's name. I need for them correct that. So how that I go?
Once it affects the child's identity in terms of who they really are, like a brown to a gray, that changes a little drastic. So of course, you know, you'd have to go through the court where DNA would have been ordered to prove the true paternity of the child, and then a court order is sent to the RGD to do the necessary changes to the birth record or to create a new birth record depending on what is ordered by the court.
My baby mother no stop growing me. Every time me tell her to add my name, it's a different issue. What me fi do?
In adding the father's particulars to the child birth record really requires the consent of both parents. So there is no two ways about it, because only these two people can tell that yes, I am the parent or parents of this child or children. Now, if it's a case where one parent is not consenting to adding the particulars of the father, or the mother is not consenting to adding the particulars to the child's birth record, there's not much that the RGD can do in terms of pursuing this application, because the requirement is that both of them has to sign. So mommy has to say yes, this man is the father of the child, and this man acknowledge that yes, I am the father of the child. Only in that way that the father's particulars can be really added to the child's birth record, because it's a declaration that you're making to say that yes, we are the parents of this child or children.
My name is on my child's birth certificate, but the spelling is incorrect. How can I fix that?
It depends on the variation of the name. If it's a case where the father can substantiate that the name should have been spelled this way by using his birth certificate and other proof, then the RGD can treat it as a clerical error. So we first have to determine what is the name and what is the name that you require, and what evidence do you have to support the name that you really want. We've had instances where mothers show up at the hospital with more than one daddy, and we find that the truth always comes out when questions are being asked. Now, whether there is one gentleman for the KFC, one for the Burger King, one for the rent and the other miscellaneous stuff, make sure that the name that is being added to the record is the biological father of the child. So I always encourage mothers, do it right the first time, because in correcting this error, it is a very tedious process. It has to go through the court. We can't just write John Brown and then you come back to say, no, it's not John Brown, it is Tom Strokes, and we just take the pen and cross out John Brown. It cannot be done like that. It has to go through the court, where there has to be proof of who the biological father of the child is, and the only way you can determine that is through a DNA, which is quite expensive. So I usually encourage our mothers to do it right the first time.
We've reached the end of our program. Get a recap of everything you saw here and more on our website, jis.gov.jm. And remember, use positive affirmations and visualization techniques to reinforce your self-belief and desired outcomes. I'm Audrey Williams. Walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.